Yo, yo, yo! Welcome in, people. How are we doing, man? Welcome back to another stream. I'm joined today by Hugh from the 1894, Hugh from the Big Six, Hugh from Dublin, Big Hugh. We all know Hugh in it, so Hugh was going to be here in just a second. But before we do get into it, as always, make sure you drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel as well if you are new, guys. Let's get it in. Let's get it. Get those likes up in it. We're on 55 likes. And we need to get to 100 in it. So, yeah, man, we need to get those likes up. JP Wi-Fi dead. Yeah, bro. That guy's internet, man. The guy's internet before was going beep, 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 beep. You know what I mean? It was that's Morse code, isn't it? That's not what he was doing. But, yeah, it's chilling. We're on StreamYard. And, yeah, Hughes will be here in just a second in it. So we're chilling. As always, we'll go through the stats of the players. We'll have a talk about it and that. So, yeah, it's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. And it's obviously a decent result for us yesterday. Got the win into the next round of the competition. The draw is later on this evening after the Tottenham Hotspur game as well. So we'll find out who we've got in the next round. Couple of interesting results last night, by the way. That's obviously beneficial for Man City. Is that Leicester went out. They good to get a late goal, but wasn't enough, and they got beat 2-1 off Leicester. Brighton are in though. Brighton are obviously a great side. We all know about Brighton, and Brighton. That they won. They beat Stoke 1-0. Fulham, also a good side. They beat Leeds 2-0, and the City obviously went through 3-0 winners. Tonight you got Southampton, Grimsby Town, Burnley, Fleetwood, Man United, West Ham, and Sheffield United versus Tottenham. So that's where we're at with the. Let me just get that over there so I can get the stats on the screen. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's where we're at with the draw. That draw later on tonight. So yeah, we'll go through the player ratings. And yeah, we'll see. And like I say, Hugh will be joining us in a bit. When is the next round draw? The next round draw is you talk about the one after this, innit? Because the draw tonight, there's a draw tonight, and that's later on. That's after the Tottenham game. The draw after that, I guess it'll just be after the next round of fixtures. I don't know, innit? But I assume that is. Yeah, man. Yo, Hugh.
Yes, people. How are we? All good?
Yeah, bro. Thanks for jumping on, man. I was meant to message you like pure earlier on as well, but I was fucking playing Warzone, innit? You know what I mean? I was on the Warzone on the Twitch stream, and then it got to like someone at 4:30 went, LB, you still doing the play ratings at 5? I was like, oh shit. I was like, I've not messaged you. I've not even realized I'm doing this. So yeah, thanks for stepping in at late notice, bro. In fact, before we continue, let me just whack the channel in the title there, the 1894. Boom, there we go, guys.
Yeah, we're getting close to the big 6K, so hopefully.
There we go, guys. Go subscribe to Hugh's channel, man. I've just linked it in the title. Just refresh the stream and it should come up. Buzzing, you know the drill, bro. We'll go through the play ratings, and yeah, I think most of the subs were late on anyway, so probably just stick with maybe Jack Grealish. Everyone else came on like the 80th minute or whatever. So let's go into it. Let's play Stefan Ortega. Obviously, unfortunate that he comes in for the game, man, and made 1 or 2 saves, but unfortunately, that injury to his, I think it was like to his thumb or something. Like he'd done something to his thumb, maybe.
His hand, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, made 1 save in the game, and that was from inside the box. Had a 92% pass accuracy, only misplaced 2 out of his 24 passes while he was on there. Both of them were long balls. It's kind of difficult to give him a rating in it when he only played 45 minutes.
It's really disappointing for him because, you know, with goalkeepers, you have to take every single opportunity you get. And he would have looked at that as a massive opportunity, especially right now when there is a lot of criticism for Ederson from City fans and from football watchers worldwide. So this was a big opportunity for him. There was a clean sheet for him to take there. You could see when he was on the pitch, he made that one mistake of a pass that ended up going out over the sideline, and he was fuming with himself. He was fuming. He was looking for perfection. So I do feel for the guy. Like, we know he's a good goalkeeper, but we just want to see more of it. But you can't really rate him, can you? 45 minutes?
No, I'm just going to give him a 6, innit? Average performance from when he was on the pitch. Let's go on to Rico Lewis then. Rico Lewis played the full 90 minutes yesterday, had 77 touches and 66 passes, misplaced 10. That's an 85% pass accuracy. 7 long balls, 3 of them successful. 2 dribbles, both successful. 4 ground duels, 4 successful. 5 aerial duels, 2 successful. Lost possession 12 times. Made 1 clearance and 1 interception as well. I thought it was another pretty solid game from Rico Lewis, bro. To be honest with you, I thought he was decent. I thought on the ball, looked very good. Defensively, it looked very good, very calm. And I just think that a top performance.
He's the most comfortable looking 18-year-old you're going to see at this level. The way he's transitioned from playing the leadership role he did, the captain of the EDS team, to stepping into this first team has been absolutely seamless. Like you can see how natural he looks. He doesn't get phased by pressure. And let's be real, there was stages of that second half, or even more than just the second half, where Bristol were piling on the pressure, and we were all saying Bristol looked like they could score a goal here. So you needed people like Rico Lewis to just keep their composure, keep their calm, not do it in silly, and that's what he did. I'm a bit surprised. You said, what was it, 12 times he lost possession?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem like that. It didn't come across like he was having a howler in possession. But look, these are the kind of games that Rico needs. Playing against big physical lads in lower league opposition. It's good for his development, and another win as well. So yeah, I'm happy.
I don't actually think that number is quite that high. I don't think that's a high number for someone who plays 90 minutes, bro. I think that's like a pretty standard number. I mean,
I would have said less is basically it, because he looked really comfortable to me. He looked like he wasn't making many mistakes, but you know what? The stats don't lie, do they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, player rating then for me for Rico Lewis, I thought he was very good, very calm, as you say. For 18 years old, the way he's playing at the moment, he plays like a mature player that's been playing top level professional football for like 5 or 6 years. I'm gonna give him a 7.5. Thought it was very good.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7.7 because it's fantastic to have that option in Rico Lewis, who can come in and play like that, because we don't want Kyle Walker playing every game. Let's be real, we don't. When the big pressure games are coming up now in a few weeks, you're really talking business end of the season, and that's Kyle Walker. That's when Kyle Walker has to play, and we want him fit, we want him fresh. So having Rico to step in, even if we're winning a game 2-3-0, take Kyle Walker off, put Rico on, it's a very, very good option. He's definitely going to be a huge part of this squad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no facts. Ming Yi, by the way, with the super chat before, said the Arsenal-Everton game is not on TV tonight. Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, it's a bit weird, but it's what it is, isn't it? That's where we're at. And Footy says, thought Thiago Silva was a Bray, but the guy sent for Alvarez. Have you seen this, bro?
Nah, what's going on?
Actually, not. Someone just told me then in my last stream, then when I was on Twitch, and
Thiago Silva sending for Alvarez.
Apparently, Thiago Silva sent for Alvarez, bro.
What, do a diss track or something, was it?
I don't know. Let me have a look.
Here we go.
Thiago Silva's response to an Instagram post criticising Julian Alvarez's 7th place finish in the Best FIFA Men's Player Award. He described Alvarez as an absolute bench player for Manchester City. It is a joke.
What a cheeky bastard. Thiago Silva. I rated Thiago Silva a lot higher than that. You know that in my head I had him as like a good, morally strong, top center half, just all around good guy. You don't hear any problems with him, but for him to make a snide comment like that, he's gone down in my estimations because he's ignoring the full context of Julian Alvarez's situation, which is that he finished a full season, a year-long worth of football at River Plate, comes straight to Manchester, still 22 years old, thrown straight into a Premier League season, straight into a World Cup. So for him to not start every single game is perfectly normal. You don't want the kid to be burnt out and sick of playing football by February, essentially. So you have to manage the amount of minutes Alvarez plays. And he's also played 31 games, 31 appearances. Yes, a fair few off the bench, but that's still a lot of football on top of everything he's already done. That's cheeky from Thiago Silva.
I agree. Well, what's going on there? No need for that. And I know the Argentines and the Brazilians don't really get on that much, but the fuck, man, what a bit unnecessary, really. Big up to Mohammed there as well with a super chat. Says Phillips swap with Rice. West Ham would take it. Well, I'd love to speak about that this morning, man. You know what I mean? But Jordan's internet kicked me off, so I couldn't get on. Yeah, we'll probably do another stream on that, bro. But it's hotting up, man. It's hotting up for sure. That whole Phillips and Rice. I mean, quickly, Hugh, do you rate that or what?
There's definitely truth to it. There's definitely something in there because those rumors aren't going away. It's not like one of those, you wake up on a Monday morning and you randomly see a rumor that you never see again. Like it's consistently cropping up that City are interested in Rice. And the one I read this morning, which was the most interesting, was they're happy to go for both Rice and Bellingham. It's not a case of one or the other. And that potentially Kalvin Phillips could be leaving the club, which is, look, I feel bad for Kalvin, but there's truth to this. I don't know how I feel about Declan Rice, but you know what? We'll see what happens.
Yeah, interesting. Let's go on. So let's move on. And by the way, massive shout out to Bet Victor. Obviously, it was sponsoring this morning's stream. In the end, didn't because the stream got cancelled. So we'll play you the clip for them in a few moments' time. But if you want something else to watch after this, go check it out, man. They talk about Liverpool versus United. Who needs to win more? But yeah, let's move on to Manuel Akanji. 90 minutes played in the game, made 7 clearances, won 5 out of his 7 ground duels, won 5 out of his 7 aerial duels as well. Lost possession just 8 times in the game, made 1 foul and got fouled 3 times. 81 passes, 73 of them were successful. That's a 90% passing accuracy. 8 long balls, 5 successful. Also made 1 dribble and was successful. Again, pretty calm game from Akanji yesterday. I don't really remember him doing too much wrong, man. I thought he had a decent performance.
No, he played a decent role in that big wave of attacks coming from Bristol. You know, he kept his composure, and the same way I spoke about Rico being able to come in for Kyle Walker. Yesterday is not a game I would have wanted an injury-prone John Stones playing. It's not a game I would have really wanted Laporte playing either. So, you know what, to have Akanji come in and do that job, get it over the line into the next round. Happy fucking days, man. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a 7 as well. I'm gonna just hit him with that straight up 7, man. I think that's pretty fair. Ruben Diaz, oh mate, he was absolutely incredible. I thought yesterday. Played 90 minutes in the game, 2 block shots, 3 out of 3 ground duels won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels won. Defensively, an absolute rock. 111 passes, misplaced just 5 of those. That's a 95% pass accuracy. And 4 of those misplaced passes were all long balls as well. 1 shot on target, which was the header. Also made a dribble attempt, which was successful. His defensive stats were all perfect. They were all perfect. He was absolutely brilliant. Massive. I mean, did you see? I don't know if you've seen it, but did you see him before the game when they did the huddle and he was telling everyone what to do and getting them all going for it, man? He's not even a captain. Kevin De Bruyne was a captain last night. But yeah, it was Ruben Diaz, the guy yesterday, who was in that huddle before the game, telling everyone what to do. Defensively, didn't put a foot wrong. I think, like Ake, I think he's getting better on the ball as well. Oh, mate, this guy, we need to keep this guy fit at all costs.
Bro, he's everything we've been missing all season. You know, that kind of leadership. A game at Bristol away, a lot of teams with City's quality would go there and just be like, you know, we'll wipe the floor of them. We're the champions of England. Easy pickings. Diaz, nah, he approaches this like it's a Champions League knockout game, roaring at everybody in the huddle, rallying the troops. His defensive stats speak for themselves. Like, he's not just a leader, you know, vocally, he's a leader through example as well. And that's so crucial. And I'm a firm believer that if we are to go on and win the Premier League title, this guy is going to be at the forefront of this. He's going to do his best to drag this team and any inconsistencies we have over the line, because that's the kind of character he is. Like, there's no denying that he had a bit of an off period himself. He didn't look his best, you know, for a couple of months there, maybe the back end of last season, and when we saw him a bit this season. But he looks like that Ruben Diaz that we all fell in love with, you know, in September when he arrived, or August when he arrived that season. He just brings that leadership and that domination at the back. You know, he's my captain in my head. I love Kevin De Bruyne. I love Gundogan. But Diaz, if I'm going to war, I'm taking Diaz to the trenches. That's just it.
You know what? In a weird sort of way, I think this injury that he had, I think it might have actually done him some good, because he's had some time off the pitch. He's had time to sort of like recover mentally as well, and sort of like the fatigue aspect is gone. And I think it's made him more hungry. He's come back into the team and he's playing, like you just said, like that first season. You know, because personally, I actually think that last year, I don't actually think he was as good as he was the year before. I think he didn't match that sort of level. But these last couple of games that he's been playing, it reminds me of that first season. It reminds me of the warrior mentality. And you're right, if we are going to war, you want someone like that in there with you. And so actually, whilst it's sort of, we've suffered a little bit whilst he's been out of the team, I actually think in the sort of now to the end of the season, it might actually be a good thing that happened, and obviously getting back in. For me, match rating, I've got to give him the 8s, somewhere in the 8s. Does he deserve 8.5? You know what? I'm going to give him an 8.5 because he did have defending to do yesterday, and he did everything right. Blocked the shots, won every header he had to win. Every ground duel, he won every single one as well. Had a shot on target with the head as well. So I'm going to give him an 8.5. Fuck it. Some people might think that's a bit high, and I understand, but I think when your defender comes out with 100% stats for defensively, I've got to give him an 8.5.
Do you know what it is? Just another point on Diaz is that the way he plays, the combative nature of the way he plays and the type of person he is in the pitch, it's probably really fatiguing. And he was doing that for a year and a half, 2 years, non-stop. So it was kind of natural that his levels dropped a little bit just from overall tiredness, I would say. So for him to have that extended period out of football altogether for a good month or two there it was, and then he came back and he was fit, and everyone's saying, why isn't he playing? Why isn't he playing? Tottenham and these other games, and Pep left him on the bench, gave him an extra couple of weeks just to make sure he's fully fit again. I said we may look back on those extra few weeks we gave Ruben Diaz to get himself together as absolutely critical in the long run. I don't want a half-fit Ruben Diaz. I don't want a semi-fit, whatever, not match up. I want Diaz mentally tuned in and physically ready for war. Because when he's at that level, I'm telling you, any attacker in the world will struggle to break him down, or any attacking combination will struggle to break him down. But I'm with you. In terms of yesterday, excellent. I would expect someone of Diaz's level to put in a good show yesterday. I'll give him an 8.6.
Yeah, Bears, big up, man. Nathan Ake slotted in at left back yesterday, and pretty advanced actually compared to normal. He played 83 minutes in the game, 2 clearances, 4 interceptions. He won 1 out of his 1 ground duel, 1 out of his 1 aerial duel, lost possession just 7 times, 80 passes, 5 misplays. That's 94% pass accuracy. 3 long balls, 2 successful. I think he had a great game. Again, I thought he good. And everyone's clocked onto this now. Everyone's saying it, you know what I mean? But he's defo improved going forward. I think his ball playing ability is improved. I think receiving the ball in advanced position is improved. And it's helping us massively. But yeah, another great performance from Nathan Ake. Again, defensively, like Ruben Diaz, every single stat was 100%. And yeah, he's getting better defensively. And you think to yourself, if he does improve a little bit, not defensive, if he does improve going forward, and maybe not necessarily going forward, but his willingness to play the ball forward and his passing to open up late passing lanes for the players. Some player, this guy we've got, you know what I mean? Because we signed him for 40 million. Defensively, don't put a foot wrong. The only criticism anyone has of this guy is that he doesn't really have that pass like a John Stones or Laporte. I'm not saying he's going to get to that level. He will never get to that level. But if he can just improve ever so slightly, there's going to be serious question marks over whether or not we should keep him in the summer, where we should move him on. I think brilliant performance from him again.
You kind of got what you expect defensively of Ake last night, but what I've been looking at the most is week on week now, game after game, the more he plays at left back, there really is no hiding from the fact that he's getting better as an overall footballer. I mean, last night, maybe for the first time possibly ever, we saw Ake get involved in proper intricate build-up play down that left-hand side, 1-2s and triangles with Phil Foden and the midfielders and stuff. Something that he's probably never had to do before, but he's clearly worked very hard on to get better at it, to get himself more involved, and to stake a claim that he could probably be Manchester City's left back. And the thing is, he wouldn't be put there if Pep didn't have faith that he could do the roles that Pep Guardiola demands of a left back. I mean, we've seen Fabian Delph do it. He turned into a serviceable left back. Zinchenko, midfielder to left back. Pep clearly has faith, and he's willing to give Ake the time. And it looks like he's definitely getting better and more comfortable at it. So yeah, a good performance for him. I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's 100% fair. Right, let's move on to the man that's been in not necessarily in the news, but he kind of has been in the news today, because if we linked with Rice and we get Rice, Kalvin Phillips does not stay at this football club, no chance. So Kalvin Phillips, these are his stats from yesterday. He played 90 minutes in the game, 75 passes, misplaced 7. That's a 91% pass accuracy. 7 long balls, 6 successful. 2 shots off target. Obviously, one of them he hit the woodwork as well. He won 1 out of his 4 ground duels and 1 out of his 5 aerial duels. Lost possession 9 times and made 2 interceptions in the game and made 3 clearances. Let me tell you what I think, bro. First of all, I want to be open and honest with everyone. Most people will know this anyway. I was never really a massive fan of Kalvin Phillips before we even signed him, right? Never. I didn't really rate him that highly. I thought he was an okay player. We signed him. And when we signed him, I thought, okay, I'm going to wipe the slate clean. I'm going to see what I'm getting. Now, I get that he's not fully match fit. I understand that. But I disagree with some people. A lot of people who said that they thought he played. I didn't think he played well yesterday. My opinion, right? My opinion is I don't think he did play well yesterday. I thought he looked slow, lethargic. I thought sometimes he didn't really know what he was doing with the ball. I don't know, man. Maybe the bias is coming back in there because you know what I mean. I never was really a big fan of him. That's why I just said it then, so everyone's aware that maybe there is a bit of bias here. I didn't think he particularly played that well, and I think that there's such a high level of improvement needed from yesterday. Like, let's say, okay, if people who were saying he played good yesterday, if you think he played good, well, how much better can he get? Because for me, I think he needs to massively improve on that performance yesterday, my opinion. And I don't think if you're saying he played good, if he plays good, then you're not going to get that much better if you think he played good. I think he played poorly. Can he improve massively from there? Possibly, I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit biased, but I just don't think I don't know if he's cut out for it at this top level. But I do also accept that he has been injured all season and he's not going to be match fit. So I do hold my hands up and say that I accept that.
It's a frustrating one with Kalvin because I was a bit different to you. Before he came to City, I was a bit of a fan of him. I really liked the look of Kalvin Phillips. You know, he can dictate the play. He's got a good pass on him. He can link up box to box, whatever. I was a fan of him, and particularly from that Euro 2020 campaign where he got Player of the Year for England. I thought he looks like an excellent player who could probably step up a level. But he hasn't shown that at all at Manchester City. And I'm in the same boat as you. I'm willing to give him the allowances and the leeway for the fact that he's had his injuries and his problems. But the opportunities he has got, he hasn't shown even glimpses of what he can possibly offer moving forward. Like, you know, with Jack Grealish last season, the way Grealish had a poor season by standards people wanted him to have, but we still saw glimpses of, right, Jack has it in him. You can get this out of Jack if you give him the time and that kind of thing. But I've not seen any glimpses of Phillips where I'd go, right, he's got it in him. We just need to work on him and give him more time. But look, it's a frustrating one. Yeah, he had an okay performance last night, but if you're having an okay performance against Bristol, I wouldn't even consider throwing him out, against Newcastle this weekend or Leipzig in the Champions League. And that's the kind of player we need. We need someone that you can feel comfortable with putting out in a game if Rodri's not available. If Kyle Walker's not available, I would rather not put Rico Lewis in. I'd rather have Kyle Walker, but I'm comfortable putting Lewis in because he'll do a good job. And likewise with many other players in the pitch. With Phillips, he just looks so many paces off the level needed to play for Manchester City. But you know what? I'm happy to give him time, but time's at the essence if City are looking at the likes of Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham.
Well, and this is the thing, obviously, and I do accept that he's not played a lot of football, and that he is good. Maybe he is going to be a little bit slow, and what he might take some time, but. Even sometimes, I don't know. I just personally, just me, my own opinion, I just didn't think he was that good yesterday.
I still think he's heavy. I still think this might be an outlandish thing. I still think he looks too big. I don't mean he's fat. I think maybe he's been smashing gym because I saw him in person a few times now at some of the games I've been at recently. And I've looked at him and gone, he's a big guy. He's muscly. He's no longer that athletic midfielder that was able to do box to box for England and Leeds. It looks like he spent a lot of time in the gym. And I'm going, maybe was that a mistake on his part? Has it hindered his mobility and his athleticism? Is that something he needs to work on? I don't know. It's something for Kalvin and the club to work out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the tricky thing is, of course, is that the games are running out. The games are running out, and if Pep Guardiola doesn't think that Kalvin Phillips is good enough, then he'll be gone in the summer. You know what I mean? So the games are running out for Kalvin. Look, me personally, of course I want it to work. I don't want us to go and buy Declan Rice for Kalvin Phillips plus 50 million if we don't need to. It's a waste of money. But my own opinion is right now I'm not seeing it. He needs more game time. He needs more minutes. But the problem is, where do you give him them minutes? Because he's not going to start in any Premier League games. No chance. He's not going to start in the Champions League games. So the only one that really he's got there is the FA Cup. So you need to hope that you get a decent tie in the next round, maybe at home against a lower league opposition. Then maybe we can play him again there. I think you need to be subbing him on more where possible. If you can get him 20 minutes every game, we're playing every 3 days at the moment. If you can play him every 3 days, 20 minutes, get that match fitness a little bit back into him because he has been out for a long time. I accept that. But like you say, time's running out, and the rumours going around today, and that's been building not just from today, from a long time ago, is that City are in for Declan Rice. Forget Declan Rice. I mean, there's no chance we're keeping Rodri, Declan Rice, and Kalvin Phillips. So yeah, for me, though, I'll probably give him like a 6. I'm not gonna, I don't think he deserves less than a 6. I think he was all right, but yeah, I'm gonna give him a 6, bro.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that one as well. I'll give him a 6-2. Like, I struggle to see many real minutes. I'm the same as you for Kalvin Phillips for the rest of this season. I mean, if we go and draw a United or a Tottenham in the next round of this competition, Rodri will play. Rodri will play because
Well, he
Pep will
should
want.
play. He should play.
He should, and I think he will, because I think Pep
Yeah.
is realistic enough with himself to know that the FA Cup is one of our best chances of silverware this season, and he'll be petrified at the idea of going trophyless. And so, yeah, he needs to hope we get a good draw, or games against Newcastle or whoever. If we go 3 or 4-0 up, Kalvin Phillips could get 25 minutes, half an hour. But I don't know, man, it's tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, factual. Let's move into the attacking midfielders then, and then we'll get into the front three. Before we do, actually, Massam says, with a 5, says, you guys are being harsh on Phillips. He was fine yesterday. We are comparing Phillips to Rodri. Remember, Rodri's first season, it was rubbish too. Well, first of all, I'm not actually comparing him to Rodri. I'm desperately trying not to compare him to Rodri. In fact, have I even mentioned Rodri's name in that whole sort of segment? I don't know if I have. Because I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying not to compare him. I'm trying to think to myself, I need someone who maybe doesn't compete with Rodri, because that's going to be very difficult, but someone where the drop-off is not massive. And what I saw yesterday, I just thought that drop-off from Rodri to Kalvin Phillips, in my own opinion, obviously you disagree, that's fine, opinions, isn't it? It was that the drop-off was big. Now, the positives are that there's a lot of people saying, no, it wasn't a massive drop-off, LB. He actually played well. That's good, because then maybe it's just my bias against this guy. And 2, even if I am right, that he didn't play very well, maybe it's just he's heavy or something, then there's loads of time for him to improve. The problem is where did the minutes come? Where did the minutes come here? That's the problem with it.
Do you know what it is as well? Like with Rodri's first season, I'm fully in agreement that he was poor. Maybe Rodri's first season and a half, 2 seasons, he wasn't the Rodri we know now. But I wasn't comparing Rodri with Fernandinho, who was the main man at the time, because Rodri was coming from a different league. He was still a very young player. Kalvin Phillips is Premier League proven, he's international proven. So that's why I set the bar a tiny bit higher for Kalvin Phillips coming to the club than I do for Rodri when he came to the club. But I still have faith in Phillips. I'm not saying, throwing the towel on Kalvin Phillips at all, but I think me and you are on the exact same page here. It's hard to see him getting sustained minutes, which is actually just what he needs right now. He just needs sustained periods in the pitch, and we don't really have the time to offer him that.
Yeah, no, you spot on. You spot on. Exactly. Let's move into the attacking midfielders then. Before we do, big up to the guys at BetVictor, who sponsored today's stream. They've got their own YouTube channel. They upload videos every couple of days talking about different topics. Check this out.
Boovy, who wins the league next? Man United or Liverpool? I get that some other teams might win it, but who wins the league first between these two teams from this position?
My gut is Liverpool could win it in the next 3 years more likely than Man United, because I still think Man United need 5 or 6 players of world-class ability to get there. I think Liverpool, they only need a couple of players, and then they've got the system with Jurgen Klopp. You can't buy a manager with the experience and the quality of Jurgen Klopp. You can't. There's no one out there on the market. You can't go and buy that. Now, Man United can throw 500 million quid at it like they've done in the last 3 or 4 years. It takes the manager across a 38-game window to get a Premier League title. Klopp's done it. It's a big ask for Ten Hag to do it against City, against maybe if Chelsea in the next 3 years were to click, for example, Newcastle. I'd back Klopp ahead of those sides, ahead of Ten Hag.
Well, there you go. That was Boovy saying he backs Liverpool over United to win the league over the next 3 years if he has to pick one. Interesting little debate. They always have these little quirky debates, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's an interesting watch. So, guys, probably go check it out. Actually, I hear what he's saying. Ten Hag still ain't got that proper experience in the Premier League, so maybe Klopp's.
It's an awful conversation. It's an awful conversation.
It is. But they've got to spend some money. Liverpool. If Boovy's on to something there, they've got to spend some money. Right, let's move into the midfield then. Let's go to Kevin De Bruyne. Not been playing that well over the last couple of months, but yesterday played 90 minutes in the game, got himself a goal as well. 89 touches, 66 passes, 86% pass accuracy, 2 key passes, 3 crosses, all unsuccessful, 4 long balls, 1 successful, 1 shot on target, 2 shots off target, 2 shots blocked, 6 dribbles, 4 successful. He won 4 out of his 10 ground duels. He didn't win his only aerial duel, lost possession 19 times, and made 1 clearance as well there as well. What did you think of Kevin De Bruyne's game, bro? Because it's a bit weird at the moment with Kevin De Bruyne. I thought yesterday, very difficult to sort of judge his game. I thought I don't know. I just find it. I always find it hard to rate Kevin De Bruyne sometimes because, like, sometimes it can be so frustrating. Like against Forest, for example, when he just kept on shooting. Yeah, but then maybe he was a bit ill at the time, so that could explain it. And every single shot didn't even hit the target. Yesterday, I thought it was much better. Yesterday, I thought it was a better performance from Kevin. Still, I believe quite far away from his best. Because his best is world class, possibly best player in the world when he's at his best, and he wasn't that last night. But I do think he was better yesterday. Yeah, what do you think about it, bro?
I mean, I think yesterday's game it sums up what we think of Kevin De Bruyne perfectly. You know, he let's call it spade a spade. He wasn't great last night, in my opinion. I think he was a bit better than some of the really bad performances he's had this season, but he was still miles off Kevin De Bruyne. You know, controlling the game, pulling every single string on the pitch, but. Then he goes and gets a moment of magic, you know, a 30-yard screamer, because that's just what he has in his locker. I mean, something for me. It looks off with Kevin De Bruyne. I don't know. Is the style of play? Is it? I don't know. The inconsistencies in the team. He doesn't look himself, but you can't really take him off because he's capable of doing something like he did there, to get the third goal. I don't know. It's a confusing one. It's a bit of a confusing one for me. I thought in the first half he was very poor. That's just me being totally honest. I mean, I don't like to criticize great players we've had, but when we're analyzing the 90 minutes that we spoke about, I thought it probably wasn't good enough overall.
No, so that's a bit weird, man. I just don't get. I don't know what's going on there. You know, we're not seeing. It's like, you know, I kind of feel like I almost feel like, you know, when Kev is mint and he does stuff, he like doesn't think about it. Yeah, it's like when he's doing stuff now, it's almost like there's like a half-second delay before he does anything. Like he's maybe is he overthinking things? I don't know. I just don't know. That it doesn't seem to be as easy coming as it used to be for Kev. Like, I'm not sure what that is. Like, Blue in the chat says he reckons he's forcing it. Maybe he is forcing it. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe
I was
it's the
going to say that.
wingers.
I was going to say I think he's possibly forcing it. I think this transition we're undergoing, which is obvious, we're undergoing a transition, maybe frustrating him, and he's trying his hardest, maybe over trying to speed up this transition and get things moving smoothly again, which is what he's used to for a number of years now. I think the whole thing is frustrating him a little bit. But look, I don't know. It's something like he's a good enough player. He's a world-class player. We know this. Roy Keane said he's a sexy footballer or whatever it was last night. The comment. He's good enough to overcome this, and I still believe he's going to have a massive say in how this title race goes. But there is no denying that he doesn't look fully himself.
Yeah, it's a really awkward one, man, because and the problem that I think he's got as well now is that I think now people are more open to playing Alvarez and Haaland and not playing Kevin De Bruyne, because we've seen that a few times now where Kevin De Bruyne's not played and we've won games. Going into the Newcastle game, again, my own opinion here, I don't think Kevin De Bruyne is a guaranteed starter. Now, I've still not decided whether or not, if it was me, whether I'd start Kevin De Bruyne or whether I'd play Haaland and Alvarez. I've not decided that yet. Obviously, we'll speak about this as the days go by and we approach that game. But that tells you where we're at. I mean, it's not starter for. I don't know. There were those people in the chat who say, yeah, he starts for me 100%. But for me, I don't think he's a guaranteed starter right now. Based on form, he's not a guaranteed starter. Now, one thing that I would say is it the system? Is the system not helping him? Playing, this new system with strikers, not false nines, and slower wingers with the likes of, I know obviously Foden played yesterday, but with the likes of Mahrez and Grealish, is that throwing him off with no false nine? I don't know what's happening, but yeah, a bit of a weird one. For me, I'd probably give him rating wise, I'd probably give him a 7.5. And I think that's top end. I don't think I could go any higher than that.
I think you're even being generous, giving him a 7.5. I think if any other player has that performance, you probably say, yeah, it's a decent performance for who that is. But we have such high standards for Kevin De Bruyne that we know when he's not looking like himself, and we know when he doesn't look comfortable. I'd give him a 7.1 myself.
Yeah, fair. Big up. Yes, to OGM Doper. Yes, bro. He says KDB has struggled the most without pacey wingers. Pacey wingers equals passing options for Kev. He only has Haaland to pass now. Easier to anticipate. That's again. That could be a legit thing, and I think that it does play a part. Obviously, last season and seasons gone by, you've had Sterling making running behind. You've had Jesus making runs in behind. You've had Sane making runs in behind. Foden. This season, he's had Foden who's been poor. He's had Mahrez who don't make runs in behind. And he's had Grealish who don't make runs in behind. He's only had Haaland who makes runs in behind. So maybe there is something on that as well. Maybe he's not getting the type of player near him that he needs. But I'm sure as well, whilst that probably is true, there's more that he could be doing on the pitch. I don't know.
I just don't think the style of play. Yeah, I think it doesn't play to De Bruyne's strengths. I think De Bruyne thrives off having players like Haaland who love to play on the shoulder of the last defender, like Asane who love to play on the shoulder of the last defender, and there's acres of space in behind for Kevin De Bruyne to play that pitch perfect ball right where the player or the attacker wants to be played. I think playing up against a low block, playing up with players who are inverting and taking up space that De Bruyne wants for himself, it doesn't suit him. De Bruyne for me suits an open field with his runners going left, right, and center. There's chaos in the low block or in the defensive shape. It's a bit congested for Kevin De Bruyne, so he's probably forcing these crosses. He's forcing these shots from length because there's not much else for him to do. I don't think he's one of these players that he's not like Gundo, where he's great for the really short, intricate 1-2s and the short term kind of passing. He likes the space. He likes to play rangy balls into perfect position. So it's probably frustrating the life out of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. He just wants runners, doesn't he? He wants runners in behind him. We're not really giving him that at the moment.
I tell you, he'd be absolutely perfect. He'd be perfect for any setup, really, this player. But he'd be perfect for us right now when we're playing up against 11 men behind the ball and our players are all inverting and it's all tight spaces. The man for that is David Silva. Really 5-yard passes, which will just unlock a defense, do something magic. He's the man for that. But De Bruyne is a completely different product to David Silva.
Mm-hmm. And I agree. Massam says KDB had 2 pre-assists and had a brilliant goal. What else can a man do? I mean, the stats are the stats, I guess. But you can also look at it and go, what else? In terms of the actual performance. But Massam's also right. This is why football's a funny thing, because some people can look at the performance and go, not great. Some people just look at the stats and go, yeah, he had great stats. What are you talking about? It's a funny old game, man. It's a funny old game. Let's move on to Bernardo Silva then in the midfield. 88 minutes played, 44 passes, 35 successful. That's an 80% passing accuracy, 1 key pass, 3 crosses, all unsuccessful, 2 long balls, unsuccessful, 6 ground duels. He won 3 of them, lost possession 12 times, made 2 fouls, 1 interception, and got dribble pass once. Here's another thing that you might not like. I think that in this current system of ultimate control that we're going for, right? I don't think Bernardo Silva is as useful as he previously has been. The reason I think that is when we've previously had wingers like Sane, Sterling, Jesus, and Foden who got behind defenses, that stretched our attack to our midfield. It made them further away from each other because your wingers were running in the opposite direction, right? So if you lost the ball, there'd be more of a gap for the opposition. In those games, I think Bernardo Silva is a must, is crucial. I think he's crucial in those games because the energy that he gives you in that midfield is high and you need that. I think when you play in this system, and again, this is my view, when players like Mahrez and Grealish and even Foden are now coming to the ball rather than making runs in behind, that means the gap between your wingers and your attack to your midfielders is a lot closer. It means that there's less room for you to get punished. So therefore, I think because we're playing like that, I don't actually think Bernardo Silva we're getting the best out of Bernardo Silva because of the style of play. If you look at some of his best performances, it's been in big games where the game's opened up and he's in the middle and he's running everywhere. He's not running everywhere now because he doesn't need to run everywhere because 5 yards that way he's got Grealish, 5 yards that way he's got Ake, 5 yards that way he's got Rico Lewis who's inverted, 5 yards that way he's got Rodri, and he's got Mahrez on the other side and he's got Gundo or Kev next to him as well. So I actually think that this system doesn't actually suit Bernardo. I think Bernardo suits big games where the game opens up. And we're not playing big games where the game's opening up. We're playing games where teams are parking the bus and we're playing inverted wingers, therefore they're coming towards us. That's just my view. But yeah, I don't think Bernardo Silva this season in particular is not saying he's been poor because I don't think it's his fault. I just think the system isn't getting the best out of him.
Yeah, I'm in agreement 100%. I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head and summarized what I think as well, that there's probably a few players, key players over the years who've been great for us that are victims of the latest system, and that's maybe why we're considering a sort of midfield overhaul, or a lot of new players coming in that Pep feels can suit whatever system we're working towards. These kind of players, the Bruynes and Bernardos, they all had their best periods when we were playing expanded football. Big pitches and wingers running in behind and chaos in the middle. Not when it's all congested and there's too many bodies in the way. It doesn't suit these players. They need space to thrive, and that's just the way it is. Bernardo's definitely, we know he's got his problems with not really wanting to be at the club anymore, but on the pitch as well, he's not looked himself. So I don't know what more you can say.
Yeah, I was giving him a 7.
Yeah, I'll do a 7 as well.
I think a 7. There we go. Let's move on to Riyad Mahrez then. He played 71 minutes in the game, got an assist as well, shot on target. 1 shot blocked, 4 dribbles, 1 successful, 91% passing accuracy. 3 key passes, 1 big chance, 1 long ball, which was successful. He won 7 out of 13 ground duels there as well, and made a few interceptions. I thought he was all right yesterday. I thought he played quite well. Seemed to be a little bit of space for him to operate in, which is always good. Got a nice assist. Just kind of a standard performance for Mahrez, like a good standard performance, not like a standard like a 6, like a good standard performance. Nothing major, nothing special, but a good standard performance from Riyad, I think.
He just did what you'd expect of Riyad Mahrez in a game like that. We hold Riyad Mahrez in very high regard as well, and yeah, he was given probably a bit more space than he would have expected last night, and he utilized it. Standard procedure. There really wasn't nothing special about it, nothing too glamorous, but he was effective, and that's what you want from your wingers.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a 7.5. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7.5 too.
Yeah, it's an interesting comment. This is why I love doing these fucking YouTube channel, because you get so many different opinions and that, and it's great to hash it out, man. Jordan there in the chat says Bernardo Silva is one of the best technical players around. He's more than energy and work rate. Technically on the ball, you're absolutely spot on. I agree. And he's more than energy and work rate. But one thing that he doesn't have that good passing behind the defense. Right, so I mean, there was a chance yesterday that was it Foden? He could have played in Foden on the right hand side, and he got the pass horribly wrong. He doesn't score enough goals. And he doesn't really get that many assists. He gets like 7 assists a season. And he doesn't have that Kevin De Bruyne pass. He doesn't have the little threaded 3 pass that David Silva had either. So I agree that technically he's very good. But what I'm saying is, in this system, what are you getting out of Bernardo Silva? Because you don't get chance creation. We all agree on that. Because you don't get chance creation. Because he doesn't create chances. He doesn't score many goals. So where he was best, his best games for City were in the big games where the games were getting stretched. Anfield away. Do you know what I mean? The Real Madrid of this world, the Barças, the big games. United in the cups, in the Premier Leagues, big matches where the game opens up and you go through a period of pressure and vulnerabilities on the counter attack. That's where the best games come from. His best games never came at West Ham at home when West Ham put every single player on the edge of the box. He never had a good game like that. His best games he has sometimes. His best games are in the big games where the games open up. That's what I'm saying. I get what you're trying to say. He's technically very good. I agree technically he's very good. But he doesn't create chances. He doesn't score goals. And therefore, in this current system, I don't think you're getting anywhere near the best level of Bernardo Silva, because I don't think you can get the best level of Bernardo Silva in this current system and play.
I think you got to pick and choose when you play Bernardo. He's not the kind of player that right now you can play in every single game, because that's just because of the way we play. Like, you're right, you're spot on. He does not have that killer pass, that killer ball that we need. I'm agreeing with the message or the chat that you put up on screen that technically, yes, he's very skillful. He's got a great touch, one of the best touches in the team probably. But in terms of his overall build-up play, it doesn't suit the style we have right now. But with that said, looking forward slightly to the weekend's game against Newcastle. Say Newcastle do try to, emulate the game we had with them earlier on the season, where they go toe-to-toe with us and get up in our faces and leave space in behind. That's the kind of game I'd be looking at and say, yeah, you could get the best out of Bernardo Silva, but a game against the likes of Nottingham Forest or Everton, who will sit back and, completely congest the centre of the pitch, you're not going to get what you want out of Bernardo Silva. So you have to kind of analyse the opposition and the style you're playing against before you decide whether you want to deploy Bernardo or not.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, for me, Leipzig at home, I would provide. Yeah, I would probably play Bernardo at Leipzig at home. I would play Bernardo against Arsenal at home. I'd play him against Liverpool when we play them. I mean, I play him in those massive games, but I'm not picking him in the games where I need my team to create chances. And again, it's I just don't think he that's where you're going to get the best out of him. And people will come in the chat now and be like, I think he can create chances. Like, well, I'm talking to you about like assists. Yeah, can he create a chance? Can he put a ball in behind for Haaland? No, he's hardly done that. Gundogan can. Kevin De Bruyne can. And I'm talking in games where the teams are sitting on the edge of the penalty area and you need players to create chances. I wouldn't go with him. I'd be picking Gundogan over him. I'd be picking Kevin De Bruyne over him. I'd even pick Phil Foden over him. But in the big games where I need a little bit more than just chance creation, because you're going to get that anyway because the game's more open, he plays. He plays every single day of the week for me. Let's move on then to Phil Foden. Played 83 minutes yesterday. Got 2 goals. Apparently as well, they credited that second goal. They credited that second goal to him. I thought they was going to give it as an own goal, but they give it as a Phil Foden goal. 2 goals for him. 2 shots on target. 7 dribble attempts. 5 successful. 90% pass accuracy off of 58 passes. 4 key passes in the game. 4 crosses, 1 successful. 3 long balls, 2 successful. It won 7 out of 12 ground duels and won 1 out of 2 aerial duels. He lost possession 11 times and made 1 interception there as well. I thought it was another great performance from Phil Foden. That's 3. I think that's 3 now that he's played well in. 3 in a row that he's played well in. And it seems, maybe it's a little bit too soon. It's only been 3, but it seems like that negative patch of his City career, and obviously he said it after the game that he had a bit of a foot injury or something, is over. And I hope it is, because the way he's playing at the moment is brilliant.
He looks like the Phil Foden we love again, doesn't he? He looks like that energetic, Duracell bunny creative player. He can crop up with a goal as well. And he deserves his 2 goals last night. He got his man of the match award, fully deserved. He looked like the main man for Manchester City last night. And that's what we expect of Phil Foden at this stage of his career. He said it himself, like he said after that game or after last night, that it was probably the darkest period he's had in his career to date. And it only made me think about it, that he's had just a wonderful career so far. He's had, nothing's gone wrong for him. He's come straight into a City team where he's been successful. The harmony in the team has been great. And this is the first bit of adversity he's faced all season. So for him to come off the back of that and have 3 great performances that he's had in the last sort of week, 10 days is a huge sign of great character and determination from Phil Foden. So I'd be looking at playing him the same way we said about Ruben Diaz, where he has to play pretty well every single big game we have for the rest of the season. If Phil Foden can maintain those kind of standards he's shown in the last 10 days, he's on that list for me as well. Where you fit him in, I'm not too sure, but he's versatile. You can kind of play him in a huge array of positions. But he was excellent last night, and I think as for City fans, it means a lot to us to see Phil Foden come back and show that level of grit and determination. So I'm buzzing for him, man. Right wing Foden, someone says in the chat, is goated. I'm in agreement. I think right wing is an absolutely perfect position for Phil Foden with Grealish in the left. So long may it last.
Yeah, no, I agree. Mint, good stuff, obviously. And we didn't know that he had that injury. He said that last night after the game, he said he could feel something in his foot. Is that the reason that he's been off? I don't know. He said it was the worst part of his career so far. And it was, because for us as City fans, we were watching Phil Foden in games going, what are you doing, Phil? Where's this Duracell energy bunny or whatever you called it? Where is this Phil Foden? Because that's what we love. That's what we love about Phil Foden, the energy, the work rate, and getting on the ball, making things happen. In the last couple of months, he was getting on the ball. He wasn't making things happen. And we was all sat there as City fans going, what's going on here? Is something gone on in his personal life? Has he had a bust up with the manager? There was rumours that he had bust up with with Cancelo. Now, any of them might be true, but what Phil Foden said last night is he said he had a little bit of an injury with his with his foot or something. Also hinted that he wasn't happy at not playing. Well, he wasn't playing because he wasn't doing anything. But the last couple of games now, 3 games, he's played well, and he played really well as well. You know what I mean? So that's great news. I'm loving this new Phil Foden. Hopefully he can stay fit, because the thing is, if you look at our spine now, we've got Erling Haaland, who is scoring goals, not scoring as many goals as he did at the beginning of the part of the season, but we're not playing as good as we did at the beginning part of the season. The team is not as good as we were at the beginning part of the season, but we're getting back to some sort of decent level. Now, we're getting better. We're on a 6-match unbeaten streak, and we're seemingly getting better and better every week. He will start getting goals as we get better. That's great. In behind him, You've got Phil Foden. He's now slamming it, getting goals and assists. Great. Do you play him on the left? Do you play him on the right? Do what you want. But you've got Grealish, who's playing okay. Could do him more goals and assists, to be honest, but I don't think he's ever going to shine in that department. And Riyad Mahrez, who's getting goals and assists as well. Behind him, you've got Gundogan, who's playing well. You've got Kevin De Bruyne, who he's on the sort of like, having a good games, not having good games, but he's still providing goals and assists. Behind him, you've got Rodri, who's looking good. And then you've got Diaz, who's back in. We've got a nice spine to the team. And that's what we'll need if we're going to go and win this Premier League. So things are looking good in that respect. For Foden, for me, player rating, I think it has to be in the 9s. He's got 2 goals out of the 3. Decent stats, worked defensively well. Do I give him a 9.5 or just give him... I'm going to give him a 9.2. I'm going to give him 9.2. Phil Foden, 9.2.
Yeah, I'll give him a 9.1 just to be slightly different. But just to kind of come off the back of your last point there about the core of the team you spoke about, other than really Erling Haaland and maybe to a lesser extent Jack Grealish, they're all also hardened winners. They're all hardened winners. They know how to do these title races. They know about the big pressure situations. And that's something we have over Arsenal right now. And that's something that we'll need the likes of Phil Foden to step up and do. I mean, there's not many players in the Premier League right now have as much winning experience and title races experience as Phil Foden, even at his young age. So we need him to come through right now. So if he set the benchmark for how he's going to play for the rest of the season, we're in a good place.
Yeah, completely agree. Right, final player there before we wrap up. Julian Alvarez played 90 minutes yesterday, got himself an assist as well. 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target, and 1 shot blocked. Had 33 touches of the ball, 23 passes, misplaced only 2 of them. 2 key passes in the game, and also got the big chance for the assist there as well. 2 ground duels, didn't win any of them, but did win his only aerial duel. Lost possession 6 times and got dribble past 1. So not too much going on there in terms of the stats, but played 90 minutes. Don't think it was a game really where, unfortunately, he got too many chances. I think it was a game where he had to run around, make himself active, and make sure that there's a little bit of chaos there at the top of the pitch, which I think he did well. Really good pressing of the ball the whole 90 minutes. Even in the 90th minute, the guy was still running and pressing. And yeah, people might say, poor game or average game, but I just think it's because the game didn't really open up for a striker yesterday with Unit. It was mainly for other players, the midfielders and that. So I thought he did well in terms of the press. Can't really complain about anything that he did because he didn't give the ball away. He didn't miss any major chances. Just wasn't it wasn't a game really where he could show his true quality. But when you have a player that works as hard as him, he's always going to get a decent rating, even when he doesn't score. And he got an assist.
He's different to Haaland, Alvarez, in the sense that if Alvarez doesn't score, but you have players like Foden scoring and De Bruyne scoring for a reason, I'm still very happy with Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez last night, the way he had to play last night reminded me very much of what we looked at in Gabriel Jesus. Alvarez last night was able to provide that great energy. He was able to drag midfielders and defenders out of position to create space for your Fodens and your Mahrezes and these kind of players. And that's just something else that he offers on top of his game. Whereas in other games where we're playing up against a different style or we're playing a different sort of shape ourselves, he will play more as kind of a fox in the box, actual goal scorer. But in those kind of games last night, like I said, he was able to drag players out of position and play a more chaotic role, which is something we've probably lacked. And, some games where it all is a bit tight and congested and we're a bit, telegraphable, easy to predict. You need someone like Alvarez to come in and add a bit of chaos, confuse the defenders a bit. They're not sure what to make of them, where to go with them. Do they go? Do they stay? And that's what you can kind of be happy with Alvarez. I would never judge him or at the end of a season based on his statistics, his goal statistics, because he's there's a lot more to his game than just that. Even
though his goal statistics are very good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think he has that Gabriel Jesus style of play in him, but he's actually a better overall footballer in the sense that Alvarez will get more goals. So we've actually come out of this deal better, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we made money on it. You know what I mean? It's we smashed it. We smashed it. For me, he got an assist, worked extremely hard. Can't really criticize him for not being involved in the game because I don't really think that was his fault. It's like Haaland, isn't it? You know what I mean? When Haaland's not involved in the game, it's not his fault. It's because we didn't give him the ball. So got an assist, ran a lot. I'm gonna give him a 7.7.
I'll give him a 7.8 just to be different.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm being a bit harsher. I don't know because it's difficult, isn't it, with strikers? You know what I mean? It's like when you do the goalkeeper. most games for City, goalkeeper does fuck all. They just pass the ball out. You know what I mean? Don't make no saves because we don't face that many shots. And then it's like, how do you rate someone who doesn't make a save because he didn't need to make a save? It's just like that with Haaland and Alvarez, where we don't create them chances. How am I meant to rate a striker? Yeah, but it's probably easier to rate Alvarez, as you kind of mentioned it then. It's kind of easier to rate Alvarez because he actually does more in the game than Haaland. Because Haaland is like, he's been doing a little bit recently and dropping deep, but he is there to get himself in the box and put the ball in. Alvarez is more, he does more than that. He runs around, he presses, he drops a lot deeper, he's getting involved, making chaos. So it's probably easier to rate Alvarez there. So yeah, maybe 7.7 is harsh. I don't know.
I think we're just too quick to judge strikers. I don't mean you or I, but I mean some people in general, just too quick to judge strikers' games based on did they score or not, or did they hit the post or not? Were they causing problems for the goalkeeper? But I want my strikers to be smart players that in games like that where they realize they're not going to get too many sniffs on goal, they go, right, I'm able to switch up my play, adjust what I'm doing and my role in today's game a bit more, and create that chaos. So that's what you get with Alvarez, man.
Yeah,
he's smart.
100%. Good signing, and as you say, definitely an upgrade on Gabriel Jesus, which maybe not many people thought it would be when we signed him, but certainly worked out that way. Well, there you go. There your player ratings. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Was it? That was decent. That was decent. A bit of football on tonight as well. Of course, Arsenal are playing in the Premier League against Everton. That's their
watch along.
No, it's my dad's birthday, man. So I'm gonna go see my dad in it. Gonna have my tea now, and then gonna go to my dad's and chill there. So yeah, I'm going to do that, man. I'm kind of I'll probably have the game on if I can get it though. I don't think it's on TV, is it? So probably have to move to America for the night, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Or get one of those fire sticks that I allegedly have. They're
Oh yeah, I've heard about them.
allegedly.
Yeah, 100% don't have one of those though. Buzzing, thanks a lot for coming on, bro. Appreciate that, man. Guys, you know what to do, man. Go and subscribe to the 1894. I'll put the link in the title. If it's not there, it's because I've just changed it before. So refresh the stream and it'll come up. Click it, it'll be hyperlinked, and then just go and subscribe to it. So yeah, hopefully Everton can do us a job. I'm not like majorly confident they will, but we will see. Hope you enjoyed the stream. If you have, make sure you drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel. If you want something else to watch, go and check out the latest Bet Victor video. The link is in the description. Pin comment as well. Make sure you tell them that City Xtra sent you. Smash a like on their video. Subscribe to their channel as well. And guys, we'll see you in the next one. See you in a bit.